Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bring a Trailer podcast. My name is Alex Porter. On today's episode, I'm joined by Randy and Cam doing a one-year garage game, this time focused on 1960. We had a lot of fun looking into that model year, doing the research for this episode, and really enjoyed discussing the cars that were available and maybe even not available to the car-buying public. Hope you enjoy the episode. Thanks, as always, to our producer, Chris Baxter.
Bring a Trailer podcast. What are we doing? Are we talking about movies today? Are we talking about cars today? What are we talking about?
We're talking about 1960, and you had some thoughts on the era, Randy.
I definitely have thoughts on the era. I was glad you picked this year and that you included me for it. It's kind of a no man's land a little bit between the 50s and the 60s, right? You guys were talking about things on the American Graffiti podcast about how the 50s kind of dragged into 61, 62, right? Tail fins were kind of reducing in size and some new designs were on the horizon but weren't here yet. I thought that made looking for 1960 model year vehicles super interesting because I've got some on my current searching list right now that are 56, 57. And then I've got some 63, 64, 65s, but I've got no 1960 as the bogey year. And as I search through BAT results, how many thousand were there? There's about 1,700.
Yeah. So when I looked earlier today, we had 6 live and 1,602 previous auctions.
So a lot of cars from that era. There's plenty to choose from, but it's interesting on what the designs and what the types of vehicles that were cool. I love trucks, but trucks were a little iffy in 1960.
Yeah.
Big American sedans were a little iffy. I don't like the Cadillac 1 year after the big 59 Cad. Anyway, our decisions of which cars will kind of speak this out, but that's how I found the year. How about you guys?
Yeah, definitely a transitionary time in a lot of different aspects. I feel like it's kind of encroaching on the end of American confidence a bit. I feel like 45, war is ending and you have servicemen coming home. Suburbs are popping up, prosperity is happening in America, and people are buying up the big boat vehicles to kind of show off what they're doing. And I kind of feel like 1960 is when that confidence in how prosperous the future is going to be kind of erodes a bit, and you start to see that bleed into car design, going away from the big boats into more compact designs, and different companies trying to figure out how are we going to approach the American market moving ahead here. Just a lot of weird test beds for vehicles that are going to come, still hearkening for the years past, but yeah, a really interesting year.
But I thought that confidence comes raging back with some beautifulness of 63, 4, or 5.
Well,
so it's momentarily gone, maybe, if that's what's indeed driving it. But I didn't feel like that's gone forever, right? Muscle car era, and even a Galaxie from 63 is so fabulous and back to huge again. That confidence and drag strip and all that sort of stuff. I think maybe if it was a confidence thing that went away, I would still say the 60s, even though it's tumultuous. There was still, in design of these type vehicles, there was still some real mojo happening. And same within Europe, a 911 was invented. Cool. And motorsport was ripping in the middle 60s, right?
It's definitely a year of change. It's the JFK year, right? Taken over from Daddy Eisenhower. No more Eisenhower, Supreme Allied Commander as president. It's famously the first televised presidential debate, right? Nixon and Kennedy. And people who watched Nixon on TV thought he lost because he was sweating. But when people listened, they thought Kennedy lost because Nixon made smarter points. So changing there too, right? Changing the way people take in their media.
There's a social media analogy
of
there,
course,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is, remember, it is.
Who's smart versus who looks
totally,
good.
Totally. It's that's a change in society. It's also thick of the Cold War. Red Scare is over, but this is the year Francis Gary Powers is shot down in the U-2 over the Soviet Union. That's one of the big world events in 1960. So it's a spicy time. You know, it's missiles in their silos and atom bombs in the bomb bays, right? It's high tension.
Civil rights movement is really getting kicked into gear.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Lots happening socially.
But young President Kennedy, there is some optimism there. I have top films. We want to talk about top music. Top film of the year was Swiss Family Robinson. You seen that one? I love Swiss Family Robinson.
I've seen it for sure. I didn't know that was the top in 60. That's great.
Some other big ones. Spartacus. Have you ever seen Spartacus? The great Stanley Kubrick. Oh man, that's a good one. I Am Spartacus.
Okay.
Psycho is 1960, so that's interesting. way further down the list, but a movie I love and that was influential later, Ocean's 11, the Rat Pack Ocean's 11 is
early one.
1960.
Wow, okay.
Have you ever seen that one, Cam? That's uber style. You would like it.
Modern Ocean's 11 is up there as one of my favorite movies. I should go back and check that one out.
Definitely taking inspiration from the Rat Pack. Although I do like the Soderbergh one more. I mean, that movie's also a style icon.
It's great.
Music, I wasn't going to cover, Randy, but you said we should. I didn't know a lot of the big hits.
Well, again, I think it's kind of in this trough between like you think of 50s songs and then you think of 60s songs, and these ones are kind of a funky blend of that, right? And I don't know if there's some semi-blockbusters, but there's not ones that are so far out in front. I mean, Roy Orbison, right?
Yes.
Wasn't Only the Lonely, or which one was it?
Yes.
Only the Lonely.
Only the Lonely is like that's a mega song. That was 1960. That's cool. What else was on the list?
I've listed these top ones and I'd never heard of them. I'm ashamed to say, but you knew them all. A Theme from a Summer Place by Percy Faith was the number one.
But I know Percy Faith for sure. But yeah, keep going. Just rap.
Everly Brothers,
Yes.
Kathy's Clown, He'll Have to Go by Jim Reeves. The first one that I knew that was big was It's Now or Never, Elvis Presley, which is a great all-timer. I wouldn't mind listening to that in a couple of the cars I have on my list.
Yeah.
Would be pretty good. You mentioned a couple, Cam?
El Paso, Marty Robbins. I mean, truly a classic that I maybe just didn't get appreciated in its day. Kind of akin to some of the cars that we'll be selecting. You have some great artists appearing in the late 50s, 1960, one of mine being Ray Charles. But akin to the cars, I maybe would have taken the model that came 2 or 3 years after the 1960 album. But yeah, leading into, modern sounds of country and Western music from him. A lot of great stuff, but again, similar to the cars of the era, a bit of a hearkening for the music that was happening in the mid to late 50s. People still trying to hang on to that. And then you get some people coming in with some new ideas and bringing some fresh sounds into things.
No British invasion yet, though.
Not yet.
Not really in cars either. We'll get to that in a minute. Formula One, a little bit of British invasion. Did you look at the Formula One season, Randy?
I wait for you for all this stuff.
So
I'm hearing about this real time. Who won Formula One?
Jack Brabham was the champion in a Cooper, the early mid-engine Cooper, a T53, but there were still front-engine cars
So it was
in
mixed
60.
grid.
Correct.
That's cool.
Including the Ferrari was still front-engine, and then they rushed a mid-engine in like halfway through the season to try to compete. Last year, the 2.5 liter formula, they go down to 1.5 liter in 61, kind of end of the era there. All the big drivers. But the thing that was the most exciting for me was Le Mans in 1960. We always talk about Le Mans and everything. This is as sick as it gets. So Ferrari 250 Testarossas with the closed body work, not the open body work, kind of the revised TR. One overall, they were first and second. Paul Frere, who I grew up reading in Road and Track, he's the guy who drove the Yellowbird 211 miles an hour. He was the winner with Oliver Jean de Bienne. They were in the front car. But when you go further back into the ranks, it's Lotus Elites. It's Ricardo Rodriguez, 19 years old. I think he was fourth place in a short wheelbase 250 right at the beginning of 250 short wheelbases. There's Porsche RSKs. There's Cunningham C1 Corvettes. There's this is our whole list to pick here, Randy. It's 250 short wheelbases, birdcage Maseratis, Abarth Carreras. What a great grid this year is.
Fantastic long cars.
That's amazing. I'm ready. That's my top 5. I think you just picked my cars for me. Daily driver. There it is.
Abarth Porsche is your family hauler.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Daily driver
or something.
Birdcage. Camarati birdcage.
Totally. They all broke, I think.
Sold.
Interestingly, all the bird cages broke, and that's what let the Ferraris get in front. But they were really fast, and you're exactly right. It was the Camarati cars that were so fast. Anyway, that was really exciting. I loved reading about that. I got really sucked down the 1960 Le Mans Wikipedia page last night.
You know Camarati, here's a little sidebar. You know Camarati on the side of a number of race cars. They ran, I think, Abarth bubble roof cars. They ran, obviously, the bird cages. That's an acronym of an American racing team. Racing division is RA-D. Somebody RA-D. I looked it up. And motor racing division. It's somebody motor racing division. It sounds like it's like an Italian exotic name, and it's some team from wherever in Torino or whatever. And I always thought it was super exotic, but it's like some American East Coast dude, and that's the team. So anyway, we got to find out what the CO stands
I know,
for.
I want.
And I would love to know if there was intention behind, let's pick something that maybe sounds a bit
totally.
exotic and like we know what we're doing.
Dude, it's Lucky Kasner's racing thing. So it's Kasner Motor Racing Division. I never knew this.
There you go. And I read that very recently. I forget where did I read it? But I read that and I was like, holy smokes. That's like, because where is that Kasner? No, that's a different family. Lucky Kasner?
Lucky Kastner is just a name I knew from racing, but like I never knew that Camarati was his team, like an acronym for his team.
Anyway, I thought that was notable.
Yeah.
And whenever you touch on, we're never going to talk about that name again. I got to grab it now. If you're talking about Camarati now, I had to drop that.
Did you read that in
cool.
that book that Tyler brought through the office?
You know what? It might have been. Yeah, he brought a racing program from the Pebble Beach Road Races, and I was looking at that. It may have been in there. It may have been in that hot rod history. I've been reading both those sort of intertwined. I forget which one it was. But anyway, that's where that came from. I'll forever think of that when I see the birdcage.
Another cool thing about this era that makes me think of is like hot rodding and the American stuff you and I like, Randy, is still kind of intermixed with European racing. Like Briggs Cunningham is taking C1 Corvettes over to Europe to race. And I believe at this stage, the Indy 500 was still part of the Formula One season. So you'd come over and race the Indy 500. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the great drivers couldn't qualify at the Brickyard. Famously, I think Fangio, he's like the champion, but he couldn't qualify for that race because all the USAC and circle track guys would come out and beat the European champion level guys. But I love that. I wish there was more of that today.
Once in a while, you get a mix of that. Some crazy European will try the Indy or other way around, not much Formula One experimentation, but some of that is cool. It was super mixed up back then. So anyway, 60s an interesting year. Car industry, geopolitical, Americana, all the stuff.
One other interesting car-related thing happening around this time is the Federal Aid Highway Act passed in 56. So by 60, interstate highways were under full construction, which I'm sure influenced a lot of the design.
Was it not before that? Was it not like 50s? Or did it take till 60s until they actually got it over the goal line?
So you'll know more than I will if you read about it. But I was watching Band of Brothers with my son last night, and they show a really cool scene with all the German troops marching out of Germany down the middle of the Autobahn and all the Americans and British tanks rolling in. And famously, Eisenhower saw that. We were able to move our army around on the Autobahns. And he's like, God, we need this in America. We need like a interconnected series of big highways in case we need to move the army around the interior of the United States. And that's what he used as justification to ram this through federally, right? Like that was an era when states paid for things. So federally funding this big thing was a huge deal.
Yeah, like one of the biggest construction projects probably in human history.
Certainly.
But yeah, I'm sure that led to car companies being like, all right, people can travel places. Let's make things comfortable. Let's get families places. But just an interesting kind of timeline thing I wanted to point out.
But we're still really before a huge...
And yet I still want a Bug Eye Sprite.
I know, but...
on your brand new highway.
That's on my list. But it's still before large invasion of European cars. This is still like, there's not a ton of options in 1960 for imports. For Japanese cars, basically nothing.
Japanese, they made cars, but it'd be interesting to look at Toyota history and Toyo Pet and all the weird stuff, and if it had actually landed, if they were actually selling a retail Japanese car. I think they did starting in like 58.
I've got one on my list.
You do?
That I believe was sold here.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if I'll get to it or not. All right, you guys, anything else to say about the year, or should we dive into the picks?
Let's go.
Okay,
people want to hear about cars. They love our political commentary, but they actually want to hear
a little more about the space race.
Yeah,
the Artemis spaceship blasted off today. We got to do aviation corner. Yeah, first humans leaving Earth orbit in 60 years is happening today. This was the year that we shot the chimpanzee into space. 61 was the first time an American went into space, but 60 is first animal,
life
American
form.
Animal. Yeah, Ham, the chimpanzee. Okay, so quick reminder for folks listening on how we play the 1 Year Garage game. We are each going to pick 5 cars. So 15 cars in total will be picked from 5 separate categories. We'll go around and there's no overlap. So order matters here. And I have not done anything to pick order yet, but we will determine that in just a minute. The 5 categories that each of us will be picking from are sports car, daily driver, truck 4x4, family hauler, and wild card. I'm going to write some names here. C for Cam, E for Alex, R for Randy, and Cam's going to pick the order, which matters.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, dun, dun, dun. Ooh, Alex first.
Alex P.
Love that.
One.
Cam second. Randy goes last.
Perfect.
Sorry, dude.
Actually,
I think clean up. Let's do it.
I think it's not going to matter. I don't think there's going to be a tremendous amount of overlap, but it'll be interesting. There are a few very obvious picks, I think, that maybe we would have friction over.
I like going third. I'm still doing my
Randy's researching.
Keep going.
I really tried. I feel like in the past, I have ventured outside of vehicles that we've listed on the site. So I really tried to stick to specific cars that we have had on the site this time.
Oh, do you have like lot numbers?
Yep.
Okay, I do too. I have the most specific lot numbers that I want for this than any other year we've ever picked. So there's a lot. And I'm going to start with sports car and pick one of those. And this is one of the cars, Randy's going to remember this one. This is one of the cars that I wanted the most. So for sports car, I'm going to pick 356B, and this is the Condor yellow GT tank speedster stripe car that our buddy Trevor Croft listed forever ago.
Oh, that one.
Do you remember this car? I love
You
this
said,
car.
Yeah, Speedster side spears, and it's that yellow color. And it's okay. So we've listed a number in this yellow color. I have
Were
another
you looking
one
at the
up.
Super?
I'm looking at the GT.
Oh, the
model.
GT.
We've had a couple GTs of those, and we had a very early BAT GT clone. But that car I also remember.
So I loved
Did it have
this one.
It had a big tank or a weird
Yeah, it has
interior?
the 80-liter tank and the speedster stripes. But the thing I loved about it, and Beck wrote this listing up, is this first owner picked it up in Europe, drove it everywhere. We'll link to this. It's lot number 12,777, way back in 2018.
Half the auctions ago.
Yeah, 2018. No, 2018. This is lot 12,000.
Yeah, but now we're, oh gosh, that's tiny.
Yes.
I was thinking we're
early.
at 24,000. We're at 240,000.
240.
Okay, that's
No,
not
this is
halfway.
12,000.
That's not halfway, Cam.
So, this was owned for many years by the head landscape architect of Caltrans, and the little lookout right to the north of the Golden Gate Bridge is named after this guy.
Wow.
And there's all kinds of cool pics, and all of his badges are on the dash that the events he took it to.
Wow.
So the history on this car, I've even asked Robbie and Trevor a couple times what happened to this car. I've always loved it. Love the color. I love a 356B in general. But this car, yellow California plates, just a great car. You do remember that one, Randy?
Absolutely, because you and I talk about it every couple of years. We
Yes.
check in and reminisce
Yes,
on that
that's
car, and that's a cool one. And I used to be an anti 356B snob. I was like, speedsters and A's, speedsters and A's, do whatever you have to do. And I have warmed to B's and B Roadsters, and some of those were on my list here. But I think we can't go for just a different version. I can't steal just a different version of the B. You grab 356B, which is a winning offering of 1960, if you ask me.
And how much larger was the GT tank compared to the stock? Do you know?
80 versus
I mean, you've owned,
50?
yeah, maybe 50
80
liter.
versus something.
Okay, substantial.
80,
yeah, I mean,
80
it was
liter is
meaningful.
the size of a 911 tank. That's like what's in the 912. It's pretty big.
Okay.
For
got
a
it.
1600 4-cylinder, that's a lot of gas.
Yeah.
There was an optional 100 liter for 911s, which takes up a pretty big chunk of the trunk.
I'm finding good stuff from 60, by the way.
Of course you are.
Now back as far as 2023, and I'm finding some goodness.
There's lots of goodness.
So you can have 356B. I was sad at first, but now I'm good with it.
No, there's some big cars that get left on the table here, and I debated taking the car that I bet Cam is going to take right now. So Cam, go
I
ahead.
don't know, man. All right. For my sports car pick, it was a tough one, but I ended up going with is lot number 117962, and it is a 1960 Abarth 750 Sestriere by Zagato. And actually, I worked on this car when it came in. If I was really choosing the one I'd want, we had a 58 that had the true double bubble on it. A fantastic looking car, but just Zagato built, aluminum body. And I think what really stands out to me with this car is, just looking at the 600 that this car was based off of, like this really screams like a masterclass in constraint and kind of leading to the engineering and design of a race car, where you basically had this super consumer-based 600 that was the platform for this car. But the twin intakes on the back, the little vent scoops on the sail vents, like just all the little design touches on this car really do it for me.
The alloys on those are unusual, right?
Yeah, they're
so many
weird.
cars came with steel, and that came with those cool alloys.
Yeah, really, I don't have too much insight on these vehicles. I just think it's a cool piece of racing history, a cool point in history for Zagato. I feel like this kind of proved that he could, or they could as a company, design more race-oriented bodies for chassis.
You get Abarth and Zagato too, which I love these cars too, particularly the double bubble ones, which are earlier, right? The body's changed by 60, but I've heard it pointed out a couple times. It's not that these are cheap, but it's the cheapest way to getting both of those names like into your garage, Zagato and Abarth. And it's like a coach built alloy body, and they're racy. There's racing versions, street versions. I love these cars.
Yeah.
They are tiny. Have you been up close to one?
They are tiny.
Yep.
And for me, it was kind of between this or, actually, I won't.
No.
Yeah, I
You-
won't say this.
There's
Gotta
enough-
save it.
There's enough variety that you may still be able to get some of the other things. You did not go in the direction I thought you were going, although that is a great pick.
I do love that this thing was out there competing with 356s and kind of crushing them, though, back in the day.
With 750 cc's or 850 cc's
Yeah,
instead of The Porsches had 1.5s or 1.6s, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's interesting to see.
Just super lightweight.
Crushing? I don't know. You're going to upset the Porsche freaks. I don't know if they were crushing the Porsches, but they were doing something. There were twin cam alpha motors out in the same year. So, but they were in a different class.
Is that where we're headed next, Randy?
That was in a different class. So no, I'm going to curveball you. I'm going to curveball you on this one. But is that a sports car? Or is it not?
I would argue sports and daily have a lot of overlap here, and I had to grab the 356 before somebody else did.
Yeah.
If I didn't think that was in danger, I probably would have picked that as my daily, but I knew I had to get 356 in quick on this one.
So I'm gonna defer to you guys on whether this is a sports car or not, because I want it, and you guys are maybe gonna grab it for another category. But 60 for me, my mind went straight to DB4.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no,
Kind of a Grand Trooper.
No, I think that's a sports car.
But these days it's kind of smaller, and I am a super opinionated on the cathedral taillights, the vertical tails. I have that exact car up.
This was going to be my daily.
Oh, sorry, dude.
All good.
53, 435. We've only listed one 1960 model. We've listed a lot of 58, 9, 61, whatever. This one is silver. I wouldn't do a silver one just because of the bond association.
How far into the series is this? Is this like a series 3? I get confused on all of them.
This is a fairly early car, Series 2 car, and I'm all about Series 1 and Series 2 because the round taillights in the DB5, the stacked taillights, I don't think are as elegant. And these cars are cool. I mean, they drive like a British car for better or worse. And they're a little bigger to be sporting. If I was chasing you in your rear-engined Zagato car, it may be a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, thought about alphas, thought about other stuff. There's a lot of actually good stuff for sporting category.
Yes.
Where some of the other categories are a little more tricky. But this is actually a bucket list car for me. Don't want a DB5, want a DB4, a dream it's DB4 GT.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the sports car.
DB4 is that 1960?
I think there were 60s.
What am I doing then?
But we haven't listed.
We haven't listed one.
Yeah.
So DB4 GT is the ultimate for me.
You saw the kind of ratty Series 4 we just had on the site, which I was following and I loved.
Those are cool. They're
that was
cool.
61.
And then I'd get to I instantly go to the gallery and look at the rear of the car, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. I just have weird guardrails like that. So anyway, yeah, Aston DB4, always way up on my list. Have never owned one. Got to drive one of a somewhat famous, awesome BAT user, Don Rose. Shout out to Don Rose. He was big in the Aston Martin Club and raced them and stuff. And my buddy and I were out east and rung him up once, and he showed up in a DB4 and let me drive it in flip-flops, which was terrifying. The only time I've ever driven an Aston in my life. You guys ever been in an Aston or driven one?
A late model.
Later cars. I've never been in a V8 or a Vantage or any of the new cool stuff, but I got to sit and drive around a little country lane in a circle in a real DB4, and that was like mountaintop moment. This had to be 2013.
Dude, you always reveal something cool like that. DB4s are like way over DB5 for me personally.
Yeah.
I like the earlier DB3s and even 2.4s also, but the 4 is the ultimate. I always imagine it being kind of a big, torquey 6-cylinder. Is that what it felt like?
Absolutely, yeah. It's like big, it's a sportier Jag, It's like a big car, but elegant, and I don't know, you're just scared when you're me and you get in it and it's somebody else's car and stuff, But can you imagine? You're just going to say daily. I mean, can you imagine actually driving one of those? Would be killer.
Oh my God.
Absolutely killer. And yeah, all the dials and all. I mean, you don't have to explain it to folks. It's kind of an icon, but getting to be in the actual presence of them is really cool. We need one around here, I think.
But truly, the enclosed lights of the DB4 GT really make that car. Like, that is the DB4.
Well, and it gets stubbier proportions, and it sits a
wheelbase.
little higher because it's more bulbous, and it always has big tires on it. That car has some really weird details, though, right? Like, there's no trunk because there's this huge spare in the trunk, and the engines are a little more temperamental. I really like the GT too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, those used to show up at the Monterey Historics and run all the time. I don't think there were any there last year, but there used to be 2 or 3 in that class against the Ferraris and
I
stuff.
remember.
There were some great ones local to Bay Area as well, but all from across the country. I love those cars.
Beautiful cars.
Then you get into the DB4 GT Zagatos, which are even
So
crazy.
I'm actually, unpopular opinion, I actually would rather have a normal DB4 GT than a Zagato. And people think I'm a Neanderthal because I say that, but that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Here's the contrarian.
Well, I love the window line on these. That's my favorite thing is like the roof line and window line, and it's different on the Zagato. That's what I love about the DB4. which an Eve is a little thinner and more elegant than a DB5. It's like a little bit lower profile. Anyway, love those cars. Great pick.
Sports in the books.
There's a car that I can't believe nobody took there, which I guess I'm just going to do for my daily driver because I kind of want to have it.
I maybe should have done Aston for daily. Anyway, what's that going to be?
That's going to be a Mercedes 300 SL Roadster.
Nice. Yeah.
All right.
Which also...
I'm closing tabs as you guys peel them off because I'm not allowed to have them.
I'm obviously a Gullwing guy, but I have really, particularly during the time, I mean, come on.
It's so good.
And with a hardtop in particular, they're just about as good looking as a Gullwing. You don't get the cool Gullwing door. I used to be like, didn't care about Roadsters at all, but working at BAT has really changed my tune, particularly seeing some of the ones we've listed. We've listed a lot of red ones, which is interesting. I don't know if I would have one of them in red. White and red is kind of the colors we've listed. I don't know what color I would have. I think one in black would be great. And I would also be interested in contrasting hardtop.
I'm interested in contrasting hardtop and hubcaps to match.
Yes,
that's
correct.
The setup is really neat looking.
Red would not be my color, but we listed a great red with a black hardtop.
Yes, I like that car a lot. And I think it had red wheels too, didn't it? Yes. I love these cars. Gullwing is probably my favorite car of all time. It's right up there, that and Toyota 2000 GT. So 300 SL Roadster, which is not, it's weird that they call them Roadsters because it's like not quite a Roadster, really. It's more like a convertible. But anyways, I really, really, really like those cars. And I think we could daily one of those. I don't think it would be too bad. Well, here's a question. Is that a sports car? Or is that kind of in the DB4 category where it's a little bit of a toss-up? It is kind of a sports car.
You could pick that as a sports car.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen them driven fast, right?
Of course.
I've spent some miles driving around with people driving those. It's sporty. That's what the S stands for. It stands for sport. So,
Sport light.
So we can say that the marketing worked, right? I mean, it's a tube frame car.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty sporty. We'll give it that.
Great. Yeah.
We're sitting over here deciding.
I know. As my dad always says, the Roadster's the better car. You know, they've updated the suspension. They've got disc brakes. You know, they did evolve the formula a little bit. I'm still a Gull guy, but no Gull in 1960. So here we go. I thought for sure one of you guys was going to take 300 SL.
I thought about it. I mean, it's in the tabs. I've fired open like 12 tabs and I want all of them.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to feed them into the categories.
Yeah.
So that's why.
You're totally right that it's heavy on sports and it's going to get a little trickier in truck and family hauler.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So daily driver allows you your second sports car. So where are you going to take it, Cam?
Exactly. And that's what I'm doing. Randy took my daily driver with the DB4. So I'm going to pivot over to a 1960. This is very similar to the Fiat, but 1960 Giulietta Sprint Zagato. And this is lot number 177294. And this is actually a Targa Florio-Class-Winning example.
Yeah.
This is a great car.
That's a great car.
It's a really good car.
I would absolutely love to daily drive this thing around.
That's the one that's like a lozenge. It's like round. It's like an oval, funny little car with the front and back chopped off of a Giulietta, right? It's just like
the Coda Trunca, as they called it. But again, another car that the body was designed by the engineering team before any designers actually got to touch it. So it has a really funky, chopped off look to it, but all of it is completely functional and performance oriented. And I mean, 1290 double overhead cam in these cars are pretty classic. I don't think you can really go wrong with
scroll
them.
down. Does that one have some race images or any motorsport images? It'd be cool if it did.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I always think those should be the lead photo, but they end up kind of buried. You got to dig.
Well, and a lot of time the car is totally different than when it ran the.
I agree, but
I mean, come on.
But I mean, that's what I want the wall of my home to just be muraled out with. Is that
you want to be crossing the finish line at the Targa Florio in 1960?
Constantly. That's where I wanted to be standing. I was not dealt that card, but that car is super cool.
It's great, and arguably probably a better sports car than my sports car, but I don't think I'm going to complain if they're both sitting in my garage.
They both have those crazy spindly buttress seats. Those are in both the Coda Troncas and in the Zagato Abarths. They both have those like crazy little thin, they almost look like an airplane seat or something. Little tiny lightweight thing with two buttresses holding them together. I love that.
Some paper with some wooden sticks to
100%. Yes, right. The minimal amount of cushion weight. Great pick. That's a good car. And that specific one is superb.
It's fantastic.
I have a hard time. I don't know if you have this clear. Maybe you do, Randy. There's all kinds of different weird. We're vamping for Randy a little bit while he furiously searches for his dad.
Come to me. Come to me whenever you want.
No, this is a real
ready.
question that I have, though, which is when you look those up, there's like a million. They changed those bodies a lot as they were evolving that car. They're like different every year. It's a little bit like the Ferraris, like the Testarossa, like almost every one is different than the one before it, which is both super confusing, but also kind of rad. Like each car is its own deal.
Yeah, super confusing if you work on the curation team, but leads to some really awesome cars. And I feel like 1960, 61, 62 is kind of the end of the big coach built era of you having these companies that can, remain in the green, just making bodies for these other consumer vehicle manufacturers. I feel like that really drops off once you get into 63, 64.
Hell yes, brother. Some Italian dude just ripping cigs with a hammer, pounding on aluminum.
Yeah.
Yes. So rad.
That was adjacent to the Targa Florio finish line. He was like half a block over. He was just out of frame.
You picked it up from his shop one day before the race.
Yes. He's like, you see that little house over in the corner of the photo? Like he's in that house.
He was through half a bottle of wine.
Hannah beating, smoking cigs.
Yeah.
Plaid shirt, suspenders.
Correct.
Yeah, he's
Correct.
going. He's doing it.
Wicked stash.
That's
okay.
That's what I want to be.
Yeah, totally. Same. All right, Randy. Daily driver. Second sports car.
Actually, I'm going super different directions because it should probably be family car, but I'm going to go. Do you remember this when it was listed on BAT? This 1960 Chevrolet. We talked about this. So
yes.
I'm feeding you a question. You should say yes to this because
how did I miss that?
The 60 Bel Air Sport Coupe 348 4-speed on steels in factory, like sky blue with blue interior, and it's got a 4 on the floor. And not a car I would think of.
So is that technically still bubble top, or if it was 59 bubble top?
I don't know, but it's got that windshield that kind of wraps up to the top roof line, which I associate with that term, but there are other experts out there that can talk about.
And that's the motor that becomes the 390 big block, right? Or it's like a medium block, whatever it is, right?
90 was a Ford. Or maybe that was
not a 3. Sorry, it becomes the 396, right?
396.
It's like a 3. What is the cubic inch on it?
This is a 348.
348.
Solid lifter, 4-barrel, 4-speed, 14-inch steel wheels. So this car people should genuinely just go look at this car.
This car was
so good. The presentation was cool. It's in Ozark, Missouri, which is like the town version of this car, right? It's just like perfect middle of the country, awesome, not that far from where it originated in Motor City, lot 168872. And my dad always described these like the 59, 60, 61 Chevrolet sort of evolution. The fins were smooth on the early cars, and then the fins got a notch in them. This is like the notched fin with the round taillights. And it's a Bel Air, so it's sort of high trim, but this is like a performance big Chevy. It's like the precursor to the 409, effectively, in my mind. It's just one that came across BAT. You get these every once in a while. You guys may feel the same, where it's not a car, a model you were looking for, you've thought about in years or whatever, but it comes across and it just like smacks you, and it's just like, that's the one.
Yes.
Right? And you're like, the guy presented it right. It's got the right color. I haven't seen one of those in 10 years. Like, this is incredible. And I don't even want one of this model, but
I know.
If I could daily that car, I'd be pumped.
It's the specific car.
Yes.
So this car hit, I know we talked about this in the office. That car hit me the same way. I was like, I didn't know this existed. I didn't know you could get 4s on the floor in 1960.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's like proto muscle car. And I'm now redoing the research I did back then. You're right. The 348 is indeed what becomes the 409. So it's a big block, but it's smaller than a 350, but it's the big block, right? And it's like a proto performance car.
You would never wake up in the morning and be like, you know what I need is a 60 Chev. You'd never say that, or I wouldn't anyway. But
if you woke up every morning walking out to drive your
dude, are you kidding? If this was parked outside right now, I would be the most stoked. I like 63 Galaxies, and I like obviously the 56 Chrysler and all these other big American cars. But this one, I'd park with any of them.
100%.
So anyway, really like it. People are going to be like, Randy, it's not that smart or is a weirdo, but that's wrong. That's my choice.
It's a really, really, really cool car. And everything about this one specifically, the interior and the way the motor's finished, it's all very period feeling too, right? Like it's not modified in any way. Color matched wheels, all that stuff. Horizon blue
and it's just
is the color.
Extremely nice. Like the undersides are.
Yeah, the car was done, right? It was done, but it also, the spec that it started with is the important part. And it sold for $55,000. And it was a pleasure doing business.
It was.
Says the buyer and seller. They're like all stoked. Love fest. Anyway, great BAT story.
And a
great car.
Great seat of your pants pick, Randy.
It was a pleasure doing business with that car. That was a really, really good car. Great pick. All right, I'm going to continue on that trend and pick another American car. We're going family haulers next. And this is another American car that I didn't know about till I was doing the research on this one. Randy, I'll be curious if you know about these. You probably do. This is a Ford Country Sedan, which is actually a wagon.
It's Country Sedan's a wagon.
Country Sedan is a wagon. It's like a Galaxie wagon, kind of. And I never knew about it until today. We've never
but 60 Ford is a little iffy, right? Kind of similar to 60 Chev. It's not like the most famous one. So how does this look? You got to turn this around and show us.
It looks great.
Okay.
It looks great.
We may arm wrestle over it. It looks great.
I love
60
it.
Ford is a weird car.
We've never auctioned one, but we have an old post on one which has a great name on the title, which is confusing name, 1960 Ford Country Sedan.
When was that written? That's probably me being confused.
Just 2017. So
maybe may not have been me. May have been me.
I think that looks so cool. You guys don't like it at all. That's so fascinating.
Well, there's a lot of models they made, right? It's just like this weirdo one that I picked. It's like, are you going to zoom in on 60 because you're forsaking when you're a buyer, like a 61 or 62 or 63 or a 58 or 59. And so picking 60 is a weird choice.
Yeah.
So you'd see it driving up the road and you'd be like, you either really needed to buy a car that year or that's your jam. You're into it. And that's cool. Our game is a little weird because we're like forcing you to pick the 60.
Correct.
Even if the 61 is better.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can't do a 60 CAD because the 62 Caddy exists.
And
like,
59.
Yeah. All these other ones. So, but no, I see where you're going. It's a cool one.
It's like a Galaxie wag, and it's very similar. The Galaxies aren't even that great this year, but it reminds me a lot of your pick in that it's a car I didn't really know about, and it's got some performance to it. So this has got 300 horsepower, pretty cool motor. Interesting styling. Yeah, maybe not pretty, but I think it's awesome.
I mean, the rear end and the fins are almost identical, like big, long, flat plane going back. It's a very similar design.
I wanted in turquoise too.
Yeah,
I'm looking at one from Mecum right
Look at
now.
that. Yeah, you're on the Mecum
With
side.
the mismatched
which
body
love.
I mean,
panel.
to me, that's the same kind of thing. Like, if I was going to go hop in that after work today and pick up my kids, I'd be stoked.
Yeah.
I'd be stoked. With a teal interior, double teal. Anyway, that's my pick. I actually found this to be kind of the hardest. Like, what kind of sedan, or I always want to pick a wagon. I usually want an American wagon.
I'm shopping wags right now. I like that choice. Cam's up next.
All right. For my family hauler, I feel like I kind of went out there a little bit. I'm going with a 60 Citroen DS19.
Oh, good.
I'm looking at this picture. Yellow.
Yep. And this is a US market model. This is lot number 38261.
Oh, man, that's a good one.
It's cool.
Also, what's the color of the
Shout out to our gear store. That looks like our shirt.
I was going to say, I thought you were just doing this as a thinly veiled advertisement for our new merch.
We can also mention that we have an awesome shirt in the merch store featuring DS19.
I saw one of those down in the office today.
They're really good looking. But yeah, I just know all of the overarching talking points of these, of, the hydropneumatic suspension, one huge pump that powered like the steering, the brakes, basically all of the hydraulics in it. Auto leveling suspension. I don't know if you guys know the story of Charles de Gaulle's attempted assassination.
Oh, gosh.
He had a Chaperon convertible, didn't he? Version of these?
I don't know, but during that assassination attempt, his wife, and I think his son-in-law were all in a DS19 that took 14 shots to it, and no one was injured.
Is that right?
Yep. And 2 of the tires got shot out, but because of the auto leveling suspension, it could still ride on the road and get out of there.
Wow.
And so I figured if it could protect Charles de Gaulle, it could probably protect my family.
De Gaulle. Wow. I love that. Those are super, super cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if you or Randy can school me on that. I've always struggled a little bit with ID, DS, 19s, 21s, 23s. I think the number is the displacement. So is that a 1.9 and then 21s are 2.1?
That is correct.
Okay.
And then all I know is that the DS is the top of the line trim and ID is the lower trim.
Gotcha.
I also love that Citroen was making this, which was probably one of the, at the time, most advanced chassis and body design. And the fact that they're making this at the same time as the 2CV, which is like just the most bare bones car I think you could ever buy. Just a really, really interesting looking car. Just an interesting tidbit that I found in some research. When this debuted in 55 at the Paris Motor Show, apparently it was so out there that 5 minutes after they debuted the car, they had like 750 orders. And by the end of the show, they had 12,000, which has never happened before.
That's awesome.
That's so sick. I love them. I've always loved them.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared to own one, but I really would like one.
Well, working on one seems like a nightmare,
Totally.
but really just a cool piece of automotive history.
The seats, they're famous for incredible seats. I've sat in one. I don't think I ever need to own one, but I sat in one. I'm trying to remember if I got to go for a ride in it or not. No, I think I just sat in one static, and the seats are good.
I've heard.
Really, really good.
And
I don't know why the French pulled that off and nailed it, and why everybody can't just copy it and make it great. But you sit in that car, and the owner, no doubt, will say, "What do you think about this?"
Oh, God, I love that.
And then the seats are fantastic.
Well, and like the steering wheel design is so quirky, and the auto centering steer. There's just a lot of weird.
That's single spoke
stuff.
steering wheel?
Yeah, single
Yeah, okay.
spoke. Yeah, it was like maybe 20 years ahead of its time outside of the engine, but everything else was so interesting.
Awesome pick. Keeping your family safe from assassination attempts. Well done. All right, Randy, you ready for a family hauler?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to kind of contort the rules here to try to work for me. I've got a 60 car that is a genuine lot number. It is a 1960 Bentley S2 Mulliner 4-door. I prefer the 4 doors, not the 2 doors, the expensive stuff. I prefer the like base spec. This one had an LQ4 GM V8 swap.
Whoa.
Did you see that we featured that?
No.
This was actually not that long ago. One of my favorite cars ever on BAT, ever, is not this one, but the sister car that I believe is a 58, which was Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, I
Oh,
love
yeah.
that
So
car.
that's like one of the cars that I so wish I would have been able to buy, because that car is just the story and the car and the spec and everything. And this is slightly later as an S2, but it has the same vibe. It has, I believe, the same taillights as the Aston I picked earlier.
Very likely.
Part spin,
Yeah,
spin stuff. But this one needs to sit a little bit lower. It's lot number 220551. It was sold in Monterey, California. The most terrifying part about these are the big Rolls V8 or Bentley V8 or whatever.
straight six, big straight six.
These
in those,
still,
yeah.
are these still a 6? Anyway, it's terrifying. I don't even want to think about it and what it's like to keep one of those in good nick. So I'm a weirdo, and I actually like swaps and crazy things. And having this thing with a reliable, awesome, powerful drivetrain and looking this beautiful and rolling down the road as a left-hand drive car, gray with red interior, wood everywhere. Throw the fam in that. Look at these little kick-out windows.
I know, for the rear. So
Did you see
good.
that? That's so you can smoke or
So
something.
rad.
I don't know. I don't know what that's for, but proportions on these cars are incredible. Speaking of good seats, gigantic dash, automatic on the column. Like that is a cruiser. Throw all 5 in and drive around.
Oh yeah.
So
And
I'm taking it. I think the original motor. Yeah, here's the original motor.
They're straight six.
Dude, you're giving me grief. Look at S1 is straight 6, but look at this.
Oh, is it a V8?
The removed Bentley engine. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 spark plugs per side.
Oh,
That is a V8 engine, ladies and gentlemen.
wow. So they must have changed it, because the Alfred Hitchcock car is definitely a straight six.
Yeah. By the time they got to S2, maybe they kicked
Okay.
to V8, and I thought that was right, but I wasn't sure. You stunned me, and I backpedaled. But it is a V8, which maybe made the swap all that much easier.
Must
It's kind
have,
of the
yeah.
right dimension for it.
And to your point, the LQ4 must be a reliability upgrade and a driving experience upgrade.
I would think so. Certainly reliability, and then power. I mean, it's
Yeah.
got to have so much more power
Exactly.
than a 1960 Bentley V8. But I am gonna type Hitchcock into the site.
It's
and go
19.
to my
Okay, so
favorite.
1960. That the one I was showing you is the Hitchcock.
The Hitchcock sold for $295.
Yeah, that car was so
Shoot.
sick.
This
So-
one sold for $115, which is like the it's the everyman's.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think 60 was first year of V8, because I'm looking at a 59 still straight six,
Okay.
and then I'm looking at a different 60 S2, and it's
I like
a V8.
V8s as it turns out. So I've chosen a few V8s so far.
That's their big honkin' V8 that I think they kept forever.
Yeah.
That was that
like
Bentley
into
V8.
a Corniche.
Yes, like 90,
really
80s
long.
or 90s, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, weirdo choice. I know I'm driving Astons and Bentleys. Cam, you're never going to talk to
Randy,
me.
I
again.
didn't think
You're never
I'm
going
going to talk to you. I just never thought I'd see the day.
You're never
I
going to
know.
speak with me. I got an American car and I got 2 big old honkin' Brit cars. So
In
let's
some ways,
see
you guys
what-
have the opposite of what I would
Yeah,
have
you're
guessed.
German. You're all German.
Well,
which is
yeah.
awesome.
Well, no, I have my country sedan that you love so much, Randy.
Country sedan, I think, is fascinating. The fact that they called it a country sedan.
It's so
Because
weird.
in my searching of the internet, you can type Squire,
Yep.
because then you get all kinds of country Squires and cool stuff, but you miss those. So you got to back out your search and you just type Ford Country, and then you get all sorts of weird stuff because you get those as well. But then you miss ranch wagons, which is another great. They have so much good marketing. You got to figure out how
Yes.
to search them all out.
Yep.
but country sedan, I knew that from my weirdo search habits that is a wagon indeed.
It's great stuff. All right, truck 4x4 is where we're going next.
How many we got left?
Just that and Wildcard. And Wildcard should be fun because there's so many good race cars from this year. Although I've had to leave a lot of cars that I love on the side of the road. So we'll have to do honorable mentions. All right, I'm going to continue the German theme. I'm going to go for a Type 2 single cab transporter. I've always loved these.
You snake.
Oh, is it this one?
Snake.
Dude.
All right. I'm so glad I didn't pick that.
Snake. I have the tab open.
That was right there.
Let me go ahead and announce your lot number for you, which is 113983, San Dimas, California. Sold for $54,000 in July of 23. Take it, Alex.
This is one of my favorite looking buses we've ever had. It's so good. The color, long-term family ownership. I've always loved these. I think, Randy, you probably love them for the same reason, which was these were the support vehicles for so many of the racing teams that I loved. Sides folded down with spare Porsche,
Death wish to drive it. The front crumples.
Your knees are your knees.
Everything.
Yes, correct.
Oh my gosh.
I drove a lot of these back in the day, but I like the older style Type 2 with the split windshield and everything is my favorite design. I like the later ones too, but
everybody loves double cabs, but these actually, the proportions on these are cooler. They're cooler and they just look so good.
And I was the livery guy for a while, but I actually like that this one's not Porsche Vasek Polak liveried or anything. It's just a simple, great blue color. I don't need anything hot rodded. I don't need anything. I'm happy with the little 1.5 liter.
No HP.
Nothing.
30? 36? What do they have for HP?
These are 1.5. So yeah, they're probably 36, I bet.
Yeah, but I love, the blue. I feel like that was a very classic selection for Volkswagens, that area. That blue over just a gray interior is so good.
It is. I know it's like a little bit cheater, but this is like a very utilitarian vehicle. Like it fits the utility part of truck. Love these. I can't believe, I thought you were going to give me shame for this. Randy.
No, same one. That was my choice. Now I'm scrambling back into my my silver and bronze.
And Randy,
medalists.
just peeking at your screen there. You might want to look for something else.
Oh no! Oh, you've got his second choice, Cam.
You found it.
But I was gonna say, if I was really sticking to my true love for the family hauler, I was gonna choose like a 23 window Type 2 bus.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I had that on the list. 15
were there
window.
20? Were there multi windows by 60 or no?
There were definitely 15 windows. I don't know if there were still 23s or not.
But still, I mean, they may come later.
I
right?
believe
64, 5,
64,
6,
5.
Those happen.
If I'm correct, I think 59 or 60 was the first year for 23
You could get big windows. Yeah. Okay, cool.
The problem is a lot of them we've listed are conversions.
No, trust me, it's from the factory.
Oh, yes. I've seen that.
Sure it is.
Let me show you the certificate.
All those weld seams that you're seeing there. Oh, no.
Yeah.
All right. Great pick, Alex.
Oh, man. Now here comes Cam to steal my lunch again. My lunch money gets stolen twice in one round. What are you doing?
I mean, I feel like this truck 4x4, there really are only a few clear options in my head. So I went with a 6088 Series 2 Rover. This specific lot number with a fantastic photo in here is 209352.
Great color.
Great color. That green with the slightly like yellow off-white wheels is fantastic. But yeah, just like the field for options for 4x4s in this time, like what you had Jeep, Land Rover. This was what, first year of FJ40?
No, there were some early weird ones, but 60 was really early for an FJ.
Yeah.
Nobody was buying FJs.
And yeah, I just think this is also an interesting, yes,
Man,
exactly.
Great one, isn't it? Icon.
And look at this second photo.
Oh, dude, how did I miss that?
Yeah.
Did you see this?
Aviation Corner, man. That's for you, Alex. That's for you.
Man.
Yeah, 1960 was also in just doing some research of the year, I don't know if you guys came across, it was the year of Africa, and it was the year that 17 countries gained independence.
Throwing off the shackles of colonialism.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, huge number of
So
independence.
like an old landy is appropriate for that?
Well, so Land Rover...
Celebrate it?
Sure they wouldn't want to burn one in with an effigy of the Queen on it.
Yikes, maybe.
But yeah, I just feel like you started to have so many of these that were over there for whether it was colonial infrastructure that was happening by the British. You had some of these, but only could be owned by the British colonizers in the area. And now in 1960, it opens up to these just being able to be sold to the general public. And so I think that probably led to...
Are you saying they weren't sold to the general public in like 59?
In Africa, I'm saying.
Is that right?
I don't think so.
I don't know how that works.
It
seems fascinating. It's kind of a power play. But
I know they kept them running there forever. There was a famous story I read in some magazine where somebody saw like Jeeps which are seen as so rugged, wouldn't stand up the way these Rovers would. And like the Rover parts are beefier. And I remember an anecdote in some magazine about somebody pulled the head off and they were doing a valve job with a rock, just like refinishing the valve of the rock. They're going to throw it back on. It was going to run.
That's cool.
Yeah. And these things were, maybe they probably still are. It's like these and Mercedes diesels still going in various places in the world.
Meanwhile, Mr. Toyota is like stroking his beard, watching all of this play out and being like, I'm going to go ahead and have a few ideas on the matter. Yeah. Call me in 20 years.
Correct.
Yeah.
100-point build quality or whatever we were talking about downstairs.
Totally.
It was the chassis of these that had all the issues because the bodies were aluminum, right? And I think the chassis were steel.
It chassis rust issue. I mean, they have all sorts of
Did
issues.
you see the chassis
they
picture
covered
of
a lot
this
of miles.
listing?
This one has
So
a galvanized.
sick.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
galvanized chassis is a big upgrade and a big swap. We see that a lot in a lot of BAT cars. You got to look for chassis rust issues in those, in the unrestored ones. But a nice restoration. There's been so many of these and so many people have had hands on them. Like everything is solved, right? Like every malady can be solved and there's parts all over the place. But a really early, pure 1960 model just has something about it, doesn't it?
And I do feel like you could make this analogy to a lot of different cars, but this one, it really strikes for me is I really think of this era Land Rover as kind of like the Rolex Submariner, where it's a thing in an item now that is coveted by collectors and, is kind of this luxury thing. If you look at, modern Defender 90s and Defender 110s, they're very, expensive, nice luxury SUVs. And kind of if you look at Rolex Submariners, they're luxury collector items now. But back in the day, like this thing was a tool and designed to be just beat up and taken everywhere and like torn down, fixed up, And I love that ethos about any sort of product that is designed with an intention, not as a commodity. And I think these are now obviously collector's items. But I think a lot of those collectors still look at them through the lens of that.
Of course.
They are intended for.
It's built to be a tool.
Yeah.
Love that. Great pick.
All right. You guys are swiping wide swaths of the goodness of 1960 for truck. I'm such an American truck guy, but I actually don't love many American trucks.
It was
from
tough.
Model year.
Not a good model.
But I do love Willie's station wagons.
Oh, that was a second pick for me.
So this is a great one, sort of a mustard yellow with white steels and really well done by Adams Polishes was the seller on this one out of Eagle, Idaho. When was this? 2023. Sold for $30,000. Just, man, all the rightness. These things are also very rudimentary, especially from 60. I like them with like a 283 Chevy swap in them. These come, of course you do. These come with a 134.
They've got the crappy F head,
Hurricane,
right?
Hurricane 4 and a 3-speed manual. That'll get you to the general store and back, but I'm maybe looking for actually tow in a little catamaran or something with this thing, and then you've got the life you're living. Totally. All those things.
What's the lot number on that?
So lot number is critical, and it is 113859. This thing has presence really well presented by the seller, obviously, which helps it a whole bunch. Has some cool features. The little engine's not one of my favorites, but yeah, for $30,000, if you look at the underside of this, is all restored. Like that was a buy, and I would very gladly have this parked outside today and you go hop in it and drive out of here.
Man, it's really good looking.
So
those
are talk about 3 picks. I don't know how truck crazy you guys are about that category, but of all the things we've talked about, those 3 actual lot numbers we just said are like 3 huge winners. Like everybody's thumbs up on all 3 of those, which is really kind of cool to see.
Totally.
And thanks for leaving this for me. I thought when you said, watch out, I'm stealing it, I thought you were taking this.
No.
I'm actually cool.
I was looking at this one, though, for a long time. It's a solid pick.
It's extremely good looking.
Yep.
Love it. Is this overhead valve or is this still
Hurricane?
flathead?
They made a little Hurricane 4. I don't know. This is what was in all the little Willys CJs.
If it was in the, okay. I don't know if that's overhead valve or if it's still flathead, F-head. But, that's what's in my dad's 37 Willys Coupe is the engine that was in all the World War II Jeeps, right? It's the little, 100, I think it's the same motor.
Or he has a 6.
Yeah, no, it's a little 4.
He has a little 4.
That's what was in the cars.
Dauntless? Was that one?
The Dauntless is a V6.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Dauntless is a 6.
Yep. No, this is the little 4. It was in all the Army Jeeps.
Yeah, this has a high valve cover on it.
Yeah,
So
that's overhead valve.
OHV.
But it might be the conversion of the same engine that had flathead on it.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Awesome pick. Great one. Wild card. Okay, so I have a lot of choices here. Here's a question for you. I'm not going to pick this, and one of you guys can if you want, but does the Abarth Carrera count as a 356, or is that different enough that that's different?
You're going to pick a 356B
no, I'm not.
and an
No, I'm going to pick something
GTL.
different, but I am curious about your ruling on that.
I would allow that.
Okay.
I mean,
think
it
it's
plays
different
your
enough, too.
cards that you're like super deep Porsche world, but it's
the Revs Institute card.
Oh my! Oh, okay. We're
But
going
that's- no,
pretty
that's-
far afield
that's
from
not-
the 18.
that's-
I love that.
That's not what I'm picking.
Oh
though.
my gosh!
You kidding me?
So that's an alloy-bodied competition spec 250 short wheelbase that won some pretty big things. It was 7th overall at Le Mans in 1960. Amazing car. I love short wheelbases. I didn't used to like them. I used to be kind of GTO over short wheelbase, and now I'm full short wheelbase train. Watching them because they have that Goodwood class that's just 250s, and it's mainly short wheelbases, and then a couple GTOs, and usually 1 or 2 LMs. That guy spun the LM and hit it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I freaking love these cars. Randy and I had the privilege of going to Bruce Meyer's place and seeing he's got a very early silver car that was maybe Tour de France winner or something. That silver car he's got that, or that was a Le Mans
His is
too.
one
Okay, his
car.
is a Le Mans too.
Won its class, I think, right?
Yeah, 60 is either the first year or very close. They may be late 59, but this is, I freaking love these cars. And this specific one, which sold for $13 million 10 years ago, is an incredible car.
Wow, I love the livery on it.
I know.
It looks really, really cool. That's a very sound choice. It shouldn't even be a wild card. I mean, that could be for, sports car. What did you pick for sports car?
I mean, this is
You
like,
picked a lowly 356B,
I know.
and then for wild card, you just went bananas.
but that's because that's a specific car I wanted, and I knew somebody would take 356. That was a little bit strategery taking the 356,
Okay.
but this is also like,
Don't pick the GTL then. You need to pick.
yeah, I am picking this.
Yeah,
and this allows me to lean into, and this like, because I would actually probably, not that I have $13 million, but I would want a short wheelbase. So, but this, since I already have my 356 and daily drive, this allows me to take full alloy bodied comp car. I think a lot of them were right-hand drive. I believe this one is left-hand drive. But anyway, it's chassis number 1759 GT.
Not
First
sold
one's
on BAT. We have yet to have
No.
a 250 short wheelbase legit.
Yes.
We've had a rebody 250
Yes.
short wheelbase that's
Yeah.
not a real car,
Correct.
but built on a real chassis. And maybe someday if somebody wants to pay our fees instead of millions in fees.
Yeah, there were a few
Millions.
Yes, there were a few fees on this car.
At the big auctions, you can sell that car all day on BAT
$1
for
million.
$7,500.
You wish it was only $1 million. in fees.
75.
You can sell that car all day long on BAT for 99
$99
That's right. That's right.
Anyway, GTO Engineering restored that one. It's just great car, great livery.
Great pick. I feel like my wild card is maybe going to be a bit boring compared to your guys' wild card, but if I was going to go out tomorrow and find the 1960 model year vehicle that I could, reasonably purchase in my current state, that is what I wanted to select for my wild card. So I went with a 1960 Mercedes-Benz 220 SE 4-speed. So fin tail, first year, the
car.
fin. And ideally, I don't know if you could get a floor shift at this
Oh yeah.
time.
Oh
could
yeah.
you?
Well, you could certainly get a manual. You should get a column shift.
This is a column
I
shift.
don't know if you could special order a floor shift, but they were racing column shift in the day,
Yeah,
which is awesome.
so awesome. This car is also, to my
This is the one
aesthetic.
the owner period correct built, and then it.
Oh, this
to
is
the side.
here. Show me.
You know the car with
Let
the
me see.
gumball on the door.
I didn't know that the owner.
Oh yeah.
built
Oh,
it.
that car was great.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What's the lot number on that, Cam?
Lot number on this is lot 78555. If we could go a bit later, I would have chosen Randy's. Was it 67?
So mine's a
230?
67.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think 230s came out until 65.
Well, 230s was not an advantage. They were desperate at the end of the run. They were
Oh,
just
really?
trying to get that thing over the goal line to get to the next cars. But this is right out of the gates. I mean, a 60 fintail, that was pretty cutting edge design at that moment. And they were kind of late on tail fins, but they integrated them in to some controversy. But the rally cars of that were really inspiring.
Well, and that's what I read a little bit into kind of the design ethos behind this and how there was like a big argument at Mercedes of some people wanted the big flares and big fins and, compete with the American stuff. And some people were like, no fins at all. And so the designer was like, okay, we're going to do a nice, easy, like digestible, very moderate fin. Just a fantastic car. I could probably go out and find one of these if I wanted to. And
There's one I've been looking for you ever since you said you wanted one.
Yeah?
There's a white one local. Have you seen it?
No.
It's on Craig's or it's on someplace sketchy, but they still want like 17.5 for it, and it's
Yeah.
not that good.
Yeah.
And you're just like, man,
Is it floor
those
shift?
things. It's a manual, but I think it's column.
Oh, see, floor shift is kind of a deal breaker for me.
You must have. I
I
actually think column is super cool.
I think
Like in a
column is-
Bronco, like if I get an early Bronco, I kind of want a column shift 3-speed.
well, that I could do. I just feel like you don't get the full sport driving
Sporting.
experience.
Well,
Yeah.
the crazy part is they race that stuff. But yeah, it's different now. I get it. Yeah, the
Okay.
floor shift is cool too. That my car had.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, that's like 230 with floor shift would be my ideal. But in your opinion, is fuel injected or carbureted better on these?
Carbureted, you can modify a little easier as like a home mechanic. Getting into modifying for power, Ben's early fuel injection is like, I think that's beyond my pay grade. I don't know. I'm scared of that. But my dad has injection on his coupe, but I had dual carbs on mine. And I threw 2 Webers on it and tried to get more go out of it. There's different ways to do it. It's kind of how skilled you are and what kind of tune it's in. But a bunch of the early Benzes had injection, as you know, and it was great. It's just if you're trying to get more out of it, that's where my brain went. And I had more confidence in myself being able to milk some extra HP out of carbs than I did out of fuel injection.
And just diagnosing on the side of the road. It's
like,
you got much more of a shot at figuring out
that's right. Actuators and different stuff that's weird in the fuel injection system. Whereas carbs, you hope with a Weber, somebody around you is going to have the parts needed to hit it with a hammer and get it going.
Exactly.
So anyway, that was some of my logic, but they're both very cool. I mean, obviously all the SLs are all fuel injected and are amazing.
I mean, that's why I like the MFI. It looks like an SL.
And I
big lug.
in this body style, I want a 300 SE. Like I'd love to have the big boy one that has the SL motor in it, and that's injected, and I would love it. But that's a great choice, dude.
It is, and you want full rally spec like this. This is a WOB presentation. It's so good, 2-tone and the harnesses and no bumpers and all that.
Yep,
this is right up my alley.
Steel wheels.
Mm-hmm.
But the stock steering wheel and everything, which I love. It's great. It's really, really good. It's a really good presentation. That's the weird kind of low pivot, semi-independent rear suspension, right, Randy? Where like it kind of bends in the middle.
Absolutely.
The axle.
Yeah. And I never
It's like
totally
a swing
figured out how that all is supposed to work. Like there's a center spring that's lateral, right? And then it's like a 60-40 pivot. And it's like none of it is.
It ends up being like a swing axle.
Yeah,
right?
it is. And that's dangerous.
Right.
But it's also just the mechanics of how it actually works. I was like, wait, why?
It's weird.
It's attached there. It's pivoted there. It's like, it's a super weird deal.
Yeah.
We had ours out and then swapped in a Pagoda axle.
Okay.
And so I had it like out in our hands and I was like, this is the weirdest axle.
This doesn't make sense.
This can't work. But it worked.
It sure did. Awesome. Great.
What you got?
I remember that listing very distinctly. Great.
Do you?
Good pig cam. Oh, yeah.
Do you?
It's all coming back as I'm looking at it. Yeah. Great presentation. WOB has changed a lot the way, and he still does a great job of presenting, but this was how all the early WOB listings when he was like kind of one of our only power sellers.
I love it.
All right, Randy, round us out.
Dunzo, easy wild card.
Easy
wild card.
Oh,
We've sold a number of Rivas.
Yeah.
Riva wooden boats. We actually did sell a 1960 of the big boy twin engine, extreme.
How big is that? Like 28
setup.
foot?
Look at these dual engine. That makes me so happy. There's 2 keys next to each other and you put like the same keychain on both and then you fire them independently.
Wow.
It's so cool. Anyway, this one didn't meet reserve. It was sold out of Europe, 215585. There's some other non-1960 models that are cool. There's the small one, the Florida, which is kind of more attainable, and I may try to get one of those someday. But there's also the dual engine, big granddaddy, Tritone. I don't know how the Italians say that.
But that's what you want. You want the 26-footer, right?
I mean, the dream is the big one with 2 Chryslers in it. If I could have 2 Chryslers driving one of those, that would be my absolute dream.
Dude, you out on Lake Tahoe on this thing?
Tahoe is an epicenter of Riva activity, and I just think they are absolutely incredible. Perfect play for a wild card choice.
Yes.
Absolutely.
No wheels.
Also,
all propeller and wood.
You've been talking Riva for a while. Man, I forgot about the upholstery in this one.
We still, there's some issues of why the bidding stopped where it did, but this one's a 53 and a little bit earlier, and it's the one that sold for $725,000 from Scott Ailes. Shout out Scott Ailes, seller. That's the actual dream. And if I could somehow massage the title of that one to say 1960,
but that's the same model. That's the big triple cockpit
model.
Yeah, twin engine.
Comes down to presentation and location and.
But except that one's a single huge Scripps Marinized V12.
That is a Scripps 12.
Yeah.
I mean, and
that's
53 and then 67 years later, like you got to think about like where was V8 technology in 53? There wasn't a small block Chev. There was hardly a Hemi in 53.
Yeah.
And there was CAD, maybe. I mean, V8s weren't a thing.
331 CADs. You could do three, right?
Yeah. But those
overhead valves.
That was fresh stuff, right?
Yeah.
And this is already, a V12 would have been a great choice. Like dual V12s would have been insane, but nobody did it until later, I believe. So 53 is early for that. But 60, you're squarely in the V8 era. And so twin V8s are what you need. And I would love to have one of those. And if somebody out there has one, they want to sell me for pennies on the euro, I am available.
So did this style of boat, did it start with Chris Craft in America? And did this kind of like transfer over to European boating?
I mean, there was European influence early, just as early. I mean, they get credit as much as Americans do, right? But the barrel back look and the way they put the hull together and different sorts of things. I know who the experts are. I'm not the expert, but I mean, there were certainly, I don't think Americans can come and say like, oh, we thought of the wooden boat, even though that's a very rich history of Chris Craft and Hacker and all these cool makes in
Garwood.
the US. Garwood is terrific. But Riva's always just sort of had a halo because it's like Ferrari, right? Like all the movie stars drove around in them and took pictures and they were running around Monaco and whatever else.
In the med.
Just in the best way possible. Cary Grant, you know
absolutely.
what I mean? In some of my favorite movies, ripping around in these. So anyway, that is an amazing dream item for me. And that is my wild card.
Great pick. Great stuff. I'll recap this really quick, then we can do a couple honorable mentions because I had to leave some cars that I really loved not on my list. Okay, so my picks. Sports car, 356B in Condor yellow with the GT fuel tank. Daily driver, 300 SL Roadster. Family hauler, Ford Country Sedan, which is actually a wagon. Truck 4x4, a single cab Volkswagen Transporter. Wild card, a 250 short wheelbase Ferrari, specifically the chassis, that finished 7th overall at Le Mans in 1960. Cam, sports car, Abarth, 750 Zagato. Daily, an SZ Alpha, Giulietta. Family hauler, DS19 Citroen. Truck 4x4, 88 Series 2 Rover, a very good pick. I really liked that one. And wildcard or Mercedes 220 SE 4-speed rally tribute. For Randy, sports car, DB4 Series 2 Aston.
Hold on. You went totally off and picked the Ferrari Le Mans winner or whatever you picked.
Yeah.
So I want to upgrade mine to DB4 GT. DB4 GT. I picked a DB4 because it was on the site. But I can't compete with you if I don't pick a DB4 GT.
Okay.
All right, then I'm upgrading my Abarth to a GT.
Okay, I mean...
All right, great.
DB4 / aspirational DB4 GT.
GT. All right, great.
Anyway.
I hadn't listed your pick yet.
Okay.
Sports car, Aston Martin DB4 GT.
Please.
Daily driver. I actually love this pick, and I missed it, and I'm bummed. The Chevrolet, the Chev Bel Air 4-speed, 348, right? Is that the motor?
348 4-speed. Okay.
Family hauler, Bentley S2 Mulliner with a modern V8 swap.
People are going to give me grief. That's where I lose. That's where I that was the airball free throw right there. I think people are going to crucify me.
Might land, dude.
I think they're going to crucify me for that one.
Well, you're bringing it back with a very photogenic Willys station wagon for your truck 4x4. That is a really good looking vehicle. And wild card may also win the thing for you. 26-foot Riva Tritone wooden boat in the med with Cary Grant and Grace Kelly.
Yes, all of them. Join me.
A couple honorable mentions that I got to throw out there. Randy's going to roll his eyes at this one, but I loved this car. This was a XK150 listed by Hyman.
What are you talking about? Roll my eyes?
Yeah.
Only because I didn't pick it.
This specific car, black wires, painted black wires with Lucas yellow driving lamps and a Webasto sunroof. This was built at the same time when they were building E-Types. And I would actually rather have this than an early E-Type. I love this
You
car.
and I both love 150 FHCs.
Yes.
Dude. Man, look at that car.
I know. I think about this car all the time.
It's primitive, right? I mean,
Look
it's
at that,
primitive.
look at that back
but
3/4
but
though.
it's-
Come on.
It's really neat looking.
They're almost like hot roddy or something. I don't know what it is about those late fixed heads. And then I can't believe you don't care about these, Randy, but I didn't take this. But a 300F.
I was going to
hard
say,
top.
I can't believe a 300F didn't get picked.
It doesn't fit anywhere, kind of. Is
Oh,
the part of the
okay.
problem. It's
What
not
do
a
you fit
sports.
anywhere. What?
It's not a family
Damn.
hauler. It's not a sports car.
No,
You could use it as a daily,
I think.
but I needed the 300 SL and I needed the 356. So
Interesting. I was actually quite surprised when I was scrolling 1960 how many Mopar product, Chrysler, Dodge, DeSoto, different stuff of that design. We've listed a lot
Yes.
of them. We've listed convertibles. We've listed coupes, we've
sedans.
listed sedans.
Yeah.
There were way more than I thought. Like
Yeah.
you'd think it'd be all Chevys and Fords or whatever, but there's a ton of Caddies and a ton of Chryslers.
Yeah.
I was actually really excited. I thought for sure you were going
I was. It's just again, something awkward about this year where it didn't quite fit. I mean, I would love one of those in IRL.
Right? That's not your ideal year, though. You're
I like 61, which is same exact body, but with the angled headlights. 300G is what I like. This is an F.
When you dream of a particular year, it's hard to be like, okay, I'll get the 60, right?
Yes.
I was the same way on a couple cars. I was kind of like, man, if 62 is the dream, you can't just buy the sort of.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
This was a very nice one, and it was a cool car, but yeah, couldn't make it fit.
75?
85.
85.
Keeping that letter series market hot.
No, it's not. The 56s are soft.
Great looking car.
That one is expensive. Yeah, that's when the fins went bananas.
And these have the pivoting seats and 4-place seatings. That's why it's not really a family hauler. It's got bucket seats in the back.
Yep.
Anyway, love those cars with the cross rams. Come on. It's hard to deny that.
Yeah.
Any other honorable mentions for you guys? Things that you had thought about picking that were pretty rad that you hated to leave behind?
I want an MGA really badly right now. I'm in an MG phase.
I love that center marshal too, and the grill.
And the grill, the modded grill and wires and no bumpers. There was a car that ran a California Miele once, which I always thought was really cool that they let an MGA into the Cal Miele, the Fairmont Martin Swig Cal Miele, when I was maybe college or a little bit later. I still remember it to this day because the wheel offset was just right on the wires and no bumpers and cleaned up and green and low windshield. This one's pretty racy, this modified 1600 Roadster, but...
Twin cam pushrod, do you care about that?
I'm pushrod.
Yeah.
Twin cam is cool, but it's heavier and they have problems.
The one I always liked is the Deluxe, which is all the twin cam running gear, but with a pushrod and the Dunlop wheels, but still that has the pushrod motor, which you can get all the power out of. You build up the motor.
People can build those up or put a Judson on it or do whatever you got to do.
Yes.
So I've been shopping these, dude. I'm telling you, I'm on the scent. I helped a buddy get an MGA and got my hands on it to wrench on it a little bit and drive it around. And they are just so neat. I really, really like them. And they look so good for such a cheap car.
I like fixed heads too.
Yeah,
they look like they look like a 120 fixed head, like a baby 120.
My buddy Jeff Glenn and his dad did one of those and sold it, I think, on VAT. Those are cool too. But it's so sleek and cool. And
yeah, you want it with no windshield and all that.
That's
stuff.
what I want. I actually want the cut down windshield for street. This is full race, like almost no windshield bug guard. But I want like a 60% plexi windshield. That's a cool look.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Anyway, I like those a lot. So I'm dreaming on that for 60, but not too many others that got away that I'm too worried about other than
Sprint Speciale or just a Sprint. I
mean, he picked an SV.
Yeah.
And I just think a normal Giulietta was very much in the realm. I'm also Giulietta TI guy. So I was almost too like normie for me for this
family hauler.
Family hauler. I've tried. We put 4 people in that one once.
I mean, an Italian family definitely would have been hauled. I don't know if you ever saw it, but the Michael Mann Ferrari movie about the last running of the Miele when the Ferrari crashed and everyone got wiped out. Him and his wife are constantly being chauffeured around in Giulia sedans.
Yeah.
That's the car that everyone's riding around in.
Yeah. So 60 would have been like my one downstairs, and those are cool. And we've sold a few. But
is yours a 60?
Mine's actually, I think it's produced in 60, but it's technically a 61. But like Italian paperwork, I mean, who knows what it is? But I think we rode to Alfa Storico and they told us the production date. And I think it was late 60, but it's a 61 car.
Have either of you owned a car from 1960?
That's the closest for me.
I had a 61 Beetle, but not.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought about going Beetle for some answers on this one. A stock, beautiful gray color 60 Beetle is really hard to beat.
A very good Gia. Yeah. 60 is a really good gear.
That's my other honorable mention is I've been jonesing also for just a stocked out Beetle. Is really cool shape. Like let someone else do all the work and just have it and just like stare at it and cheers it. I really would love one.
And you said thumbs down on Coupe de Ville. No, thumbs down on caddies from
59 is super iconic. 60 kind of keeps the big front of the 59. It's almost the same in my view. Then lesser fin, which I actually think is good news. I'm not into 59 fin, but they got so good. But both before and after that, I love a 56 cad.
Yeah.
And I love a 62 cad.
I don't hate that.
And 60 is good, but you see that? Look at the fenders.
No, you're right.
And the fender and the double headlights and the whole thing. The front's basically a 59 to me. And the 59 is not the car for me. It's a great car, but I don't need it. It was like peak, huge cad. Add 3 or subtract 3 years, and I'm in my sweet spot.
Totally.
Ranchero, Randy, did you think about it?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
The big one, the Fairlane one, not
Yes.
because the Falcon hadn't quite come yet,
Yes.
right? Was it a 61?
There's
or
a
maybe a
Falcon.
60.
Falcon came out in
They're
60,
so
I
sad.
think.
though.
But it's the little
They're
sedan
so
deal, yeah.
sad. The headlights are so sad.
Yeah.
It looks like the Adobe car. Did you ever see that on Saturday Night Live? The car made out of clay.
No.
You'd like run into something and then you'd get out and like reform.
Oh my God, that's so great.
The front of the 60 Falcon has always looked like the Adobe car to me, and it's like kind of melting in the sun, and I love it. But man, again, it's so hard to
I
get your
know.
mind over the fact that a 63 4.5 Falcon is so
Yeah.
wonderful.
That's right. That's
how
the problem.
can you do it? But if it was the first day of 1960 and 1963 hadn't yet transpired,
You wouldn't know.
maybe it'd be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
But now I'm poisoned with comparison of all this other stuff.
Yeah, first year of the Corvair, which was an interesting
Oh.
departure for Chevrolet.
I like
That's
those.
actually a strong
Yeah, that would've been-
enthusiast choice if you
Yeah.
pull first conveyor.
Daily Driver would be cool for that.
That'd be a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
The little mini cars. Somebody already mentioned Bug Eye and 2CV, but also the Mini. You can get a Mini.
Minis were
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
Actually, my Mini is 60, the white one that Chukasad bought.
Don't know.
I don't know. I gotta look.
The only Japanese car I had was this. We've listed quite a few of these. The little Datsun pickup trucks. I
Mhm.
thought about that as a pickup truck auction. That was my only Japanese car on this whole list. Those are kind of cool.
Those
Malamute
are
listed
neat.
a couple of those.
PLG 221.
Yeah, they're cool.
The deep cuts call it that.
It
Yeah.
looks like a Mini in the front. It struck me as a little bit toy-like. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I guess you could use it as a truck, but it's like the little Morris Minor pickup
Totally,
trucks. It's
totally.
like it's a toy kind of.
Lotus Elites, fiberglass monocoque.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna pick that
I
for
thought
sports
about it.
car.
I-
I thought you were gonna do that
There-
instead of Porsche.
There were like 6 elites that finished Le Mans that year. And think about elites out there running with Testarossas is so sick.
I also thought a AC Asica might pop up on
Yes.
your list.
I had that as a
Yeah,
tab,
uh-huh.
but then I went DB, and so I pulled
Okay,
it.
nice.
The problem is
But I
it's
thought
too-
somebody was gonna steal DB, and then I was gonna do a Sedan.
it's too many sports cars. I wanted like 8 sports cars from
Yeah,
this year.
Yeah. My Mini was a 60. I had
Oh,
forgotten
hey,
about
you
it.
have owned a 60.
2015 sold on BAT for 20 grand. Look at that nice short essentials column. Lot number 214. That's a cool.
214.
That's a cool lot
That's a
number.
great car.
Awesome.
Lot number 214, and blew the motor in that thing. Merged cylinders 2 and 3. Hey, there's your buddy from Slow.
Oh, Jurgens?
That's Jurgens putting the new engine in that he built for me in that car.
Awesome.
Shout out to
He's still wearing that
British-
same shop shirt.
British Sports Cars, San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
That was a cool car. And
This
look
was
at that list of parts I had to buy that are in that listing. Oh my gosh.
Whoa, that's a long scroll, buddy.
Oh boy. I lost my shirt on that car, but that was a fun Mini.
This was possibly going to be my wild card, just
Whoa,
depending
a
on the way the
Oh.
road starts moving. This might be handy to have in the garage.
One of those came to the Houston event
No
last
way.
weekend.
On
Yeah.
rubber tires?
Yeah.
That British one?
Mhm. Yeah. It's either that or something very similar to it, but a
Yeah.
British wheeled armored vehicle.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Sorry for those listening, if you're still tuning in at this point. Daimler Ferret, lot number 163396.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Urban assault vehicle.
Yeah.
Ready to go. All right, boys. What a pleasure. Did you enjoy yourself?
1960 was awesome.
Yeah.
What a great year for a bunch of the different contexts we laid down, but then also so many choices. Like I want a bunch that you guys picked, and I want a bunch more slots to select for.
Yeah, I feel like this is a year that we could do this episode 3 times and
Yeah.
have like really interesting options every time we choose.
And
wanna-
every time I would want that VW single cab.
Yes.
Every time we do it.
I want to change the rules so I can just have the starting grid from Le Mans, and one of them can be my truck and one of them can be my family hauler. This was a fun year. It's good to challenge ourselves and do stuff. I like the ones where it's an in-between year because you got to work a little bit harder.
Yeah.
We started with a lot of like 1963s and 1997s years where it's like, well, no duh, like we all know what we want. And there is something fun about everyone competing for a couple top picks, but it's fun to also not have overlap.
Yeah.
We had more than I thought, honestly.
Same.
Well, thank you, gents. Thanks, everyone, for listening. As always, please feel free to send feedback to podcast@bringatrailer.com, and we will catch you next time.